Hello, welcome to day 4 of Paris International Air Show. We are live from Le Bourget, as you can hear. This means that the flying display is up and running, so I hope you can hear me well. We are just entering the final stretch of the show. So this morning, Airbus Commercial Aircraft had their end of show conference, where they summarized all the achievements through the week, and it was clear for us that it was a very successful week for Airbus, with big announcements pretty much every day. By the way, if you've missed any of our events and achievements, you can check out our daily highlights that we are publishing on airbus.com and our social media channel. There's still lots to talk about, and there's still lots of flying to see. And one more day with Clay, who must be already on the balcony. Clay, I hope you're not struggling too much up there.
It's okay. It's a little hot, but I think it's a couple of degrees cooler than yesterday, so I'll take every degree I can get.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back to you in a few minutes, right after another Meet the Expert episode. By the way, as you can see, I'm standing right in front of this military aircraft today. It's the C-295, because this morning I was with an expert on this kind of airlifter, Fernando Ciria, and he told me a lot of interesting things about this Brazilian Air Force C-295. So, video on. Good morning. I'm sitting today with Fernando Ciria. He's head of marketing ISR and tactical airlifters, just like the one we have behind us, the C-295. Fernando, good morning.
Good morning.
What makes this C-295 so successful?
C-295 is a very versatile platform, has been initially designed for military transport. The example of the Brazilian Air Force is perfect because they are operating 12 military transport aircraft, and now they are receiving the first of the surveillance aircraft. The versatility is allowing us as well for having versions like water bombing, air-to-air refueling, and other capabilities. Among others, in the area of ISR, electronic surveillance, maritime surveillance, and land surveillance.
And also this version incorporates an important upgrade, the fully integrated tactical system. What does this new generation FITS bring to the aircraft?
Okay. FITS is the brain of the mission system of the surveillance aircraft, and basically we are constantly refreshing and changing the technology of that system for having better capabilities for the operators. We have refreshed the computers of the system, and as well we have included 2 tactile displays per workstation that is enabling to have more presentation for the information coming from the sensors, and as well facilitating in a very friendly human-machine interface the decision-making of the operators for the tactical missions.
And I understand this Brazilian Air Force C-295 that we have right here is going on a world tour right after the Paris Air Show.
Yes, we thank the Brazilian Air Force for helping us for use this plane for a world tour, presenting these capabilities to most of the customers in the area of Asia, and as well in Canada and the United States. In Canada, it's remarkable that we have very recently contracted 16 aircraft for the fixed-wing SAR, and will be an opportunity for show our customer the capabilities of the aircraft they have already contracted.
Okay, well then all the best for that world tour.
Thank you very much.
And I see you tomorrow for the last Meet the Expert. Well, thank you for watching, and now over to you, Clay.
Thanks very much, Manuela. The A321neo has already taken off, so let's go straight to the live flying demonstration here on day 4 of the Paris Air Show. The A321neo, today the test flight is being operated once again by pilots Frank Chapman and Sean Wilde, assisted by flight test engineers Jean-Michel Pan and Sandra Boer-Schaefer. This aircraft, of course, is part of the A320neo family, which incorporates the very latest technologies, including new generation engines and sharklets, those larger wingtip devices. Taken together, this delivers at least 15% fuel savings at delivery versus previous models of the A320. And those improvements are expected to grow even more to about 20% by 2020. So why is it called a Neo? Well, that Neo stands for New Engine Option. In fact, this aircraft has 2 different engine choices, the CFM LEAP 1A engine and the Pratt & Whitney Pure Power engine. The A320neo family, in fact, is the only single-aisle aircraft offering a choice of latest generation engines. And of course, this aircraft, again today, is operating with the CFM LEAP 1A engines. Manuela mentioned the end of show press conference today for the commercial aircraft team. And they had a lot to talk about with regard to the A320 family. A320 family aircraft sales and commitments have been really robust this week at the Paris Air Show. In fact, Airbus made deals to sell a total of more than 300 A320 family aircraft worth almost 34 billion, that's with a B, US dollars. And all but 20 of these more than 300 aircraft were for the neo versions of the A320 family. Also this week at the air show, Airbus announced the expansion of its airspace cabin product to the A320 family. Airspace is a common cabin design with the A350 XWB and the A330neo, and it includes the latest technologies and improvements in the cabin. Some of those enhanced elements of the new interior include even larger overhead storage compartments. The Airbus single-aisle family already has larger overhead bins than the competition, but this new airspace bin will accommodate 8 roll-aboard bags rather than 5 as currently exist on the A320 family airplanes. It also provides such things as iconic ceiling lighting and a new sidewall panel. And the new sidewall panels are actually quite important because it allows for an increase in the width of the cabin, an extra inch. So the A320 with the airspace interior now is a full 8 inches wider than the Boeing 737 cabin. In addition, always welcome news to everybody, the airspace interior features a new, more spacious lavatory design. It includes such things as antibacterial coatings on the surfaces and optional touchless options. The A320neo is the larger brother of the A320neo, which entered service early last year. And it has a younger sibling too, or an even smaller sibling, and that's the A319neo. The A319neo had its first flight in March of this year, and flight testing is ongoing for that aircraft with certification expected in 2018. And this is the last day at the show for the A321neo. As we indicated, this is a flight test airplane. It is fully engaged in flight testing. So it will be returning to that flight test regimen. Of course, even at the air show, the flight test engineers and pilots are gathering all important data on the aircraft handling and operation. Even though this aircraft is already in service, Airbus never stops learning and improving based on those learnings. So as we bid adieu to the A321neo, we will look forward to the flight in just a few minutes of the A350 XWB, the Dash 1000 model. And to talk to us about the A350 1000, I'm joined once again by my colleague, Francois Aubé. Thanks so much for joining me again today.
Good afternoon, Clay, in this very warm day again at the show.
It is a warm day. I see you didn't bring sunglasses again today, and you also didn't get the memo that we were going without jackets because of the heat today.
You know, Clay, I'm refreshed actually because we are displaying and showing today again the A350 1000 that is a refresher in the large twin-aisle wide-body market.
Nice, and of course it's that cabin is nice and cool when you're showing folks around. It's a good place here at the air show to get out of the heat, I would imagine.
Yes, the A350-1000 features and boasts the airspace cabin by Airbus. We have 8 temperature control zones into the cabin, and it offers you the best ever travel experience you can have today in this market segment.
We were just talking, in fact, about the airspace cabin and the fact that that has been expanded to the single aisle product, the A320, but it had its origins on this aircraft, the A350.
Absolutely, Clive. The Airspace by Airbus cabin has a founding member, and that founding member happens to be the A350 XWB family. And the first wide-body aircraft to be delivered with the Airspace cabin after the XWB will be the A330neo. And we are streamlining and putting progressively our airspace features on all our product line, so that passengers have on single-aisle aircraft the same kind of excellent travel experience they are now experiencing on the A350 XWB.
And the A330neo.
Absolutely, that's gonna start flying very soon as well out of Toulouse. We are glad today that 86 A350-900s are in operations, have been delivered out of the Toulouse assembly line, and their passengers are enjoying this extra features, the extra wide body, the highest ceiling in the market, the nicest air conditioning system. Actually, we pressurize our A350 XWB a bit higher than with aluminum airplanes. We have flat floors, the famous Airbus 18-inch wide seats indeed, that you will find either on A320, A330neo and A350 XWB. All this common language in terms of design, in terms of use of LED lighting systems, is really the new identity for the decades to come of the Airbus products.
Of course, everyone here at the air show is waiting with great anticipation to see this beautiful airplane take off. We've commented all week about how this is such an elegant aircraft with its beautiful wings and that carbon fiber livery, which reminds us every time we see it of the advanced materials this aircraft is composed of.
The carbon fiber reinforced polymer, so for the specialists, the CFRP material, is one of the 3 main pillars that allow the A350 XWB family to offer a 25% reduction in fuel consumption and cash operating cost. This carbon fiber that you see actually painted here, you know, it's just a white paint that you have mostly, allows us to reduce the weight of the aircraft, to make it much more efficient in cruise, and also to reduce the maintenance cost associated to the loss and the disappearing of any sort of corrosion or material fatigue.
Another beautiful takeoff of the A350-1000, once again piloted by Hugues van der Stichel today, assisted by Olivier Philippou, and flight test engineers Ludovic Girard and Patrick Duché. This particular A350 aircraft is MSN, or manufacturer serial number 65, in the Airbus A350 product line. It performed its maiden flight in February of this year, and it's one of 3 A350-1000 test aircraft currently engaged in an intensive flight test campaign. Francois, there were 5 A350-900 flight test aircraft and only 3 A350-1000 aircraft. Tell us about how the work that the 900 did contributes to the certification of the 1000.
Essentially, the A350, 900 and 1000 are one same airplane. The younger brother, I would say, is just 7 meters longer and offers the same range, 8,000 nautical miles, than the A350-900 already in service, while transporting or flying 40 more passengers and 40% additional premium class seats. The reason why we only need 3 test aircraft indeed instead of 5 is that we are capitalizing on all the data and knowledge we gathered during the certification campaign of the 900, and we simply have not to do again a large part of the initial testing done for the 900. As a result, there is a reduction by 40% of the total number of flight hours needed for the 1000, yet we are certifying this airplane jointly with FAA and EASA, so that it's certified end of this year and delivered just right after to our launch customer, Qatar Airways.
So you're Airbus's A350 XWB marketing director. You've mentioned the 900 and the 1000. Why would an airline choose one of those models over another one? Obviously, there's different capacity and different ranges, but what sort of goes into that decision process on the part of airlines?
The range is actually the same, Clay. You know, both airplanes cover the same range. That's 8,000 nautical miles. So that we offer now, for the first time, is a couple of two optimum airplanes, and the airline just has to pick whichever capacity suits their market best. The 350-900 is a 325-seater aircraft. The 350-1000, still in the same three-class typical configuration, has 366, and we offer this true network flexibility, Clay, to our airline customers. That is to say that typically they would be able to fly on winter season an A350-900 and then swap to A350-1000 if the market, if the demand really requests this kind of capacity to be put into place. The 350-1000 is there to typically replace the 777-300ER, which is an older generation aircraft, and compared to this one, it reduces by 25% the operating cost. So for the airlines, it's very important to have the 900 and have this flexibility to move over to the 1000. But I should add to this that the A350 XWB has been designed to offer a common type rating with the A330neo family, so that you have a complete range of wide-body aircraft ranging from 250 seats up to 400 seats, with the same pilots, the same pilot licenses, also the same pieces of equipment on board for the cabin crew.
And indeed, some airlines have ordered both the A330neo and the A350 XWB.
You know, it's actually 86% of our XWB customers have the A330 in their fleet. The A330 is the most successful ever twin-aisle aircraft in the world, and the 350 XWB is just complementing the A330neo family, above 320 seats, up to the size of the 380.
And I think we all can expect to see an A330neo flying at one of our future air shows before too many more months or years. We'll look forward to that. Now, we were talking about the elegance of this airplane, Francois. It's a beautiful airplane with that swept wing, but that elegance is not just for looks. There's a reason for this design of the wing and of the aircraft fuselage.
We call it biomimicry. What we do is that we've been looking at the birds, like steppe eagles and other types of seabirds, for instance, who play a lot with the shape of their wings to optimize their flights. What we did on the 350 XWB is that we created and designed the most efficient aerodynamics you could find out there. Why? We have morphing wing features that allow the wings to change shapes throughout the flight. We have the variable camber, and we also have a differential flap setting function, whereby inner flaps will not have the same behavior as the outer flaps, allowing the aircraft to permanently optimize its aerodynamics. It saves weight, it saves fuel burn, and it makes the A350 XWB family the most efficient ever twin-aisle aircraft.
Well, your baby, the A350-1000, has just completed a beautiful flight by a beautiful airplane. And it's been a good Paris Air Show for that aircraft, completing its paces here at the 2017 Paris Air Show here on day 4. This aircraft likewise is in a flight test program, and so today was its last flight here, and it will go back into flight test full flight test activity straight away. So Francois, I'm going to thank you for being here and ask if there are any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our Airbus Live viewers before you get back on your way.
A little goodie for you, Clay. How can you identify at the airport gates that you are in front of an A350-1000 or an A350-900, you know? I tell you what, just count the number of wheels on the main landing gear. That's the best way you can identify both. The A350-1000 has a 6-wheel bogie, and that's actually the easiest and nearly the only way you can identify them both, because they are so similar. So this is really the force of this commonality that we are putting into the large twin-aisle market.
And so I assume that the 900 has a 4-wheel bogie.
Absolutely.
Great. Francois, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure. We appreciate your insights, and we'll look forward to talking to you again in the future. Meanwhile, have a great rest of the air show.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So as we now take a look at the A380 getting in position to take off, I'm pleased to welcome once again Joaquin Toro Prieto, who's with the market analytics team for Airbus. Thanks for joining me again today.
Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for inviting me again, Craig.
Certainly, and I see that you did, as opposed to Francois, you did get the memo about the sunglasses and not wearing the jacket. I think we need to acknowledge that it's hot and we just have to find ways to deal with it. But as we said early in the week, it may be hot here at the air show, but these airplanes are cool.
Yes, completely. I mean, it's one of the Le Bourget that I recall with the highest temperatures. You need to adapt or die.
And we'll talk about adaptation here in just a little bit with regard to this airplane itself, because we've talked about a program this week at the Paris Air Show called A380 Plus that will see the further evolution of the A380 into something different and better, and we'll look forward to your thoughts on that. But first, as we're waiting for the aircraft to take off, I'll want to let you know that our flight today is piloted by Airbus Chief Test Pilot Christophe Caille, and he's assisted by Jean-Louis Rabiot, and that the flight test engineers on board today are Gerard Desbois and Thierry Lewandowski. So I was informed earlier in the week that this aircraft has been dubbed Jacques Rosay in honor of the late legendary Airbus test pilot, the man who was crewing the very first A380 aircraft, Jacques Rosay. A nice tribute to him. But you know, Joaquin, as we see that gorgeous aircraft, massive, strong landing gear, takeoff, it's not just flight crews and flight test engineers that support the operation of a flying display at an air show. It really takes a big crew of people, does it not?
Yes, it does, Clyde. You have, I mean, people like, for example, the mechanics. We must not forget about all of them. Sometimes these are the unsung heroes that we have in all these big teams. All of them put in a lot of time, and most of it a lot of passion in making flying our aircraft, so that we can give a good show for our customers and for all the guests visiting the Le Bourget during these days of the air show.
And actually, it's interesting. Today, there's an emphasis, literally today, on Thursday, day 4 of the 2017 Paris Air Show, an emphasis on future talents and developing the aerospace employees of tomorrow. We know that it takes not only our current staff at Airbus, but it takes the staff of tomorrow. The staff of tomorrow, employees of Airbus of tomorrow, are going to design and build the next iterations of the aircraft that we see flying today, and probably even aircraft that we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Yeah, I agree with you, and this is part of this digitalization effort that we are putting in place to make the company move forward. And what a better way of moving forward that, for example, talking about this A380 Plus that you were just commenting at the very beginning. What we've done with this A380 Plus, basically, is one of the projects that we have under study, where we are developing new winglets that will be improving the fuel burn consumption by a 4%. We will be cleaning up the belly fairing of the aircraft. We are going to be introducing new cabin enablers to increase the seat count up to 80 more seats. We are going to be improving some of the systems of the aircraft. We are going to be increasing the maximum takeoff weight by 3 tons. And we are also reviewing the maintenance plan so that the aircraft is doing what it's supposed to be doing, flying and not staying on the ground. And we're packaging all this and we are calling it the A380 Plus.
Now, why is additional takeoff weight important?
The idea of the maximum takeoff weight is to maintain the performance of the aircraft current. So with those additional 3 tons, basically we managed to carry the same, or not the same, but additional payload over the same sector distance. So today the A380 is flying 8,200 nautical miles. That's a whooping number, amazing number. Today there are destinations like, for example, Sydney, Dallas, Dubai, Los Angeles. These two are those some of the longest routes that today are in service by airlines. And today those 2 routes, for example, they are operated with A380. So the A380 and the performance that it is amazing what it can deliver and it can do.
You mentioned that the A380 Plus contemplates adding as many as 80 additional passengers. I know a lot of our viewers are thinking the A380 is already the largest capacity passenger aircraft in existence. Adding 80 more passengers, will this compromise comfort for passengers?
No, it will not. What we are doing is putting in place cabin enablers that are liberating unused space. We are, for example, repositioning some of the staircase and just adapting them so that space that was not usable before, we can use it now to add additional seats. But in any case, we are not compromising the comfort of the passengers. The A380 or the A380 Plus, if we go ahead with it, will stay still as the most comfortable aircraft in service, offering more volume to the passengers, wider seats, a lot of comfort.
I'm pleased to say that I get the privilege of flying on an A380 home to Washington when I return from the Paris Air Show. Although I did not book my travel via the iFly A380 website or app, we do have an easy way for our viewers who want to have that experience themselves of flying on an A380 to find out where they fly and even book a seat. Tell us about that platform.
I encourage everyone to go on it. What we are trying to do is to federate all the different airlines flying A380 today and offer also to all the passengers and people loving the A380 a single entry point so that going through that website they can log into the destination they want to fly, and then the website will take care of proposing them potential alternatives to get there flying A380. So I think it's a great idea, and then we are combining it with more at-home social media platform. There is a social media wall. Great opportunity for everyone. Go and check it.
Of course, not every A380 is the same. It's got so much cabin space that airlines really use it to create their own individual environment and their own individual sort of cabin brand. Are there as many different cabins as there are A380 operators?
Yes, there are. I don't want to give names because all our A380 customers, all of them, we like them, and all of them, they love the A380. But what I can say is that the A380 today, for all the airlines, they have that aircraft as part of their fleet, is part of their flagship. I mean, it's the reference aircraft, and they will be considering it in the reference way. It's the centerpiece of their fleet.
Over 170 million passengers have already enjoyed the flying experience on board an A380. And every 2 minutes, an A380 takes off or lands somewhere in the world. And the clock must have just rolled over because an A380 just landed here at Le Bourget Airport outside of Paris, concluding a fabulous flying display once again of that beautiful and iconic airplane. Joaquin, I want to thank you for joining me, and thanks for your insights. Always a pleasure, and hope to catch you at a future air show.
Likewise, Clay, thank you very much. Keep on inviting me, and good afternoon to everyone. Cheers.
Thanks very much. So as Joaquin makes his way out, I'm going to conclude our time together by saying that you might want to keep your eye out on Airbus. We're going to make an attempt later today at a very special world record. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is or what sort of part of our business it involves, but I will just say watch this space. So you might keep a lookout later on for some news from Airbus. Meanwhile, want to invite you back tomorrow because my colleague Paige Wilson will be here for the flying display, and she'll present that to you live. It's my last day, but I want to say that I've, on behalf of Joaquin and Manuela and all the crew that have brought Airbus Live to you this week, we appreciate more than 100,000 live viewers via Facebook every single day, plus viewers on YouTube and people who have followed us on Airbus Twitter feed and on our special Airbus Live Twitter feed. Thanks so much for being a part of our Paris Air Show 2017. You come back tomorrow to see a flying display. Meanwhile, I'm going to bid you goodbye from day 4 of the 2017 Paris Air Show.